Hey, AfterBuzzers, welcome to the Expanse After Show. Today we're talking about Episode 9, The Weeping Somnambulist. And, oh my goodness, was Bobby lying? Stay tuned. What's up, AfterBuzzers, and welcome to the Expanse After Show. Today we're talking about Episode 9, The Weeping Somnambulist. And what's up with Bobby lying? Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh, there it is. There it is. We need our music to get us into it. It's the Expanse After Show, Episode 9, The Weeping Somnambulist, and there might be discussion of how we say that word, because whatever, you know, potato, potato. My name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's K-A-R-I-D-L-A-N-E. And a quick shout out to Electro Threads. You can get this cool Galaxy shirt, and if you put the code K-Lane, you get 20% off. And the rest of my panel.
Hey guys, Rick Hong here. You can find me on all social media at Rick Hong, R-I-C-K-H-O-N-G. And I'll go wherever I hong damn like.
Wow, that's refreshing. That was different. Hey guys, I'm Maria Cavassuto, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Maria Cavassuto.
All right. So this episode, at first I was like, wait, who are these new people? What's going on?
Right.
Oh yeah, it was a little bit.
Yeah. Because, I mean,
odd.
we've had our other moments where there's new characters introduced, and then you're like, oh, this is telling us about something. We learned about, like, the Epstein Drive and stuff like that. But then this was like, what? And then Holden and Amos in the suits.
yeah, I know. I was like, are those guys Martians? Or wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
Well, our dudes have Martian suits on their ship. So
Yeah. Although
Yes.
it's kind of like it's expected. I feel like we were gonna see some part of them very, very soon, just because you know.
it's our team.
They're
Need our
very
peeps.
crafty.
Yes. And then that's their method to get to Ganymede of, like, we're going to borrow your ship.
Yep.
Kind of
Smart,
pirate your ship.
smart.
Sort of.
feel
Let us
like-
borrow it.
That's what they do, though. You know.
They do.
They do. They infiltrate and use cover.
Yeah, they
to
pull
get
the-
in.
Yeah, they pull the whole Trojan horse.
Yeah, very much so. That's
Yeah.
That's exactly what I meant.
And I think it was Stark in the chat room was saying how loving the show, loving the books, loving how the show's kind of having its own take. Watching this, I'm like, I'm reading the books. I'm on, like, the very, very end of Caliban's War. That I have, like, it's audio CD, so I'm like, I think there's probably just a couple more chapters. But, oh my goodness, when it changes, you're kind of like, oh, where is it going to go? Because it's, like, a whole new adventure. What do you guys think of their process of getting down to Ganymede of, like, yeah, we'll hijack your ship, but ultimately what happens with those people too?
Well, it is a little sad, and I mean, speaking of, I believe at least in the subtitles it said Melissa. Yes,
Yeah, Melissa.
I do watch TV shows with subtitles because I don't want to miss a single thing. It's weird, but trust me,
No,
it
it's
helps.
not.
Weird.
No,
all the time,
no.
everything,
Yeah,
even
me
at
too,
home.
me
Right,
too.
Yeah.
right. I honestly just don't want to miss anything, and especially with
Yes.
something like this where they do use some terminology
Yeah.
that might get a little fuzzy for me. But you know, ultimately, the feeling that Melissa had about these people, about not really being, I guess, truly like for the belt, especially with Naomi, kind of came true. It
yeah.
kind of came full circle. It was very devastating to watch because just when you think there's like a smidgen, maybe a smidgen of hope, it's not, and everything just kind of goes to crap.
Well, it just sucks because it's like you would love to inform everybody, be like, so by the way, there's this destructive weapon out there.
Yeah.
But oh wait, mass panic, we can't do that because they're like, Holden, like, tell us
Yeah.
what's going on, and he's
yeah.
like, yeah, I can't do that.
But-
Yeah, you're on a need-to-know basis.
And no.
Yeah.
But do you think Amos shot her companion on accident? Was he hitting the crossfires? I couldn't quite see
Crossfire.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't see that as an intentional thing at
that.
all.
Yeah, I think it just was an accident, which
And
is
and by the way, Han shot first.
fair enough. But yeah, when he was dying, I was like, I was sad.
I know.
I barely knew that guy. I was like, whatever.
No,
No,
but
I'm
they
hopeless
seem like a
romantic.
couple.
Anytime a couple
Right?
dies, somebody.
They were a couple, right?
Yes.
That's how I took it as well with the hand holding. He had a wedding ring on. I'm assuming.
Sad.
I didn't,
Some sort of
I didn't
poor
even find out
belters.
the name of that guy until right before that scene.
Doesn't matter.
And I don't even remember his name now, so it don't matter.
Doesn't matter.
See what we have to deal with on this show? Like, this is terrible. What is this?
I was barely invested.
Oh, very true. Space Case says people who hate subtitles are the weird ones. I agree, right?
I agree.
But then
I totally agree.
Lil Jim points out subtitles reveal secrets sometimes because it says
true.
who said something.
Yes.
Yes.
I will agree with you there. Every now and then, I do get a little bit of an
I don't
moment.
do that. I'm like, oh, cool, great. I don't think about it.
Well, it'll be like a cloaked figure, and they'll say the person's name, and you're like, I'm not supposed to know that yet.
Right. Okay. That's
Yeah.
totally a buzzkill. However, for the most part, it is helpful, especially because
Yeah.
like my mind tends to wander, so it helps to keep.
Focus. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Star comments, though. I've usually read all the books multiple times. Oh, I have read all the books multiple times and still get surprised, which is awesome.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, that's a great compliment.
And I think it's Bouchon Boy says, yes, she was the captain, and Apophis was her husband.
Yes.
So
No, his name was like Sagatachi or something. That's what the subtitle said.
I didn't watch the subtitles this time, so I couldn't say. But they ended up on Ganymede, and Prax kind of starts wandering off to do his own thing, right?
Yes.
Yes. I watched on my phone, so I couldn't see it as well. But that one, you're like, oh, I don't know if that's a good idea. But, I mean, I guess he's like, you guys aren't looking fast enough, so I'm going to go.
Well, I mean, because it's about his daughter.
Yeah,
he
no,
doesn't
totally.
he doesn't care about the conspiracy.
Yes.
It's like, dude, I got to find my daughter, make sure she's alive.
Especially now that he has
Yeah.
a little bit of hope that she actually is alive.
Yes.
So I mean, all that kind of changed the whole game.
That was some humor. I love that scene where they're on the ship and discussing their plan, and he's like, do you guys really think it out this well? And Amos is like, this is a pretty good plan. Like, this is better than usual.
Yeah, he's like, I hope your luck rubs off.
Yes.
Because it's sketchy. You know, one of the things that I thought Amos was gonna do. What are we calling this character? Because I was gonna go by last name, but like, do we call him Prax? Is that like what we're calling him? Because his
Prax-
last name is Meng, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
Ming.
we're gonna go by Prax, right? Just so
Yeah.
we're all on the same show. Okay, so Prax. He was having that moment when he was trying to send the message and whatnot, and when he kind of refused to, I don't know if it was like to go or something like that, and Amos comes into his area.
Oh, the message?
Yeah.
Yes.
But specifically when Amos is like, you know, you kind of have to take that up with the captain or something like that. I had a split moment where I thought Amos was literally going to grab Prax by the like neck and be like, you're coming like right now. Because he's like, nope, not until I get, you know, like my say or whatever. I had a little moment where I thought that was going to happen, and I thought that would be, you know, probably a little too much, but it just kind of like crossed my mind.
Okay, so does it answer some of your questions about Amos's character though? This episode.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for commenting on the last video, and we didn't say it just yet, but if you haven't noticed, there is a live chat, so feel free to join us. We love that you guys are all talking with us, and if you're watching this later, comment down below on what you thought of the episode, and thank you for commenting on the last one. I wasn't convinced he had the procedure. I just had a moment where I wondered, because a couple of you pointed out, like, well, it's like a PTSD thing, and I'm like, I wasn't sure. It just was a moment where you go, ooh, I hope he didn't. So, Maria, last week I pointed out how Amos had this like weird moment that I'm like, did he get the procedure? Shit.
You mean, did he get the procedure
To like remove his
some
personality?
The weird
you're saying
line,
at some
yeah.
point, or like in the
In
interim?
the last episode or
Gotcha.
so, like there was just a moment where his behavior was a bit off. I mean, obviously he's had some
He
other
wasn't
stimuli going
so
on, but
Amos-like.
yeah. You know what, for me though, his character is, I love him on the show, and I actually really love it in conjunction with the book. Because it's like his character in the book is not, I think, it's a big character, but not like huge. And same thing with the show, but somehow combined, it's like so fun. Or it's like maybe after watching the show, I'm hearing them when I'm
You're
listening to it.
hearing Wes Chatham, the actor, playing.
Yeah, and that just makes it so much more fun.
Yeah,
And,
sure.
Vasarala is becoming my favorite character. Oh my gosh. Love her. Because on the show, she's amazing. And then in the book. So we can, anything on the team getting to Ganymede, I mean, that not a lot happens with them.
You know, they just kind of
No.
just get there.
No,
other
yeah,
than, like, that
I did
last-
think that it was more about Earth and
Yes.
what goes down there,
Yes.
and also Venus.
Yes.
A little
You
bit.
get a little bit of that. So we first get Bobby going to be going to Earth and all the drugs she has to take to deal with Earth gravity, we just take it for granted being here and all, you know. We're like, psh, no big deal.
We don't know what those Martians deal
Yeah.
with, really. Like,
Well, they do. They're like, yeah, we've done our training in 1G, but it's like, it's still a bit much on your system because they first walk out the ship and it's like, oh, it's so bright and the gravity and the dude vomits and you're like, oh,
yeah.
it's okay, bud.
No, and some of the preparation too reminds me of like, you know, when people say if you're going to go to Africa from the United States, you've got to get a bunch of different shots and like have your malaria pills.
Yeah.
And so it kind of, I was like, oh yeah, I was like, because I didn't even think about that. You know, I didn't think, okay, here's these guys coming to Earth. Yeah, it's going to be a complete shift for them. And so I thought it was really clever and really cool that they did that. They added all these, take this and take that, and Earth's bright and the ocean smells like crap. And I'm still like, you know what, the ocean still does kind of smells like crap.
You know,
I
You know,
feel
it's
he
so
was
funny.
just saying mean stuff about the ocean. That water when they came by there looked nice, but yes.
No, I was gonna say I grew up in Mexico, and like I always heard people that would go to Mexico for the first time that they like be prepared to get like really sick to your stomach, and I guess like it's just, you know, the water's different, whatnot, but like that has never happened to me. So I have like, I swear I have developed a tolerance for like weird stomach things. And
Well,
it just
if
reminded
you're
me of
already
that.
there, you would ingest whatever it is, and then your body's used to
Well,
it.
yeah,
you
but
know?
I don't think I've ever gotten like sick in the way that they've described. So it's just like,
Well, it's
oh.
if you had something else and then you change it. I think is more the idea.
Maybe,
too.
but I went to Mexico when I was 8. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was drinking Patron out of the bottle, not from a shot glass.
Oh,
So-
oh, girl, we do not drink Patron in Mexico City. Let me tell you.
Cuervo.
No, some Don Julio. Give me that.
I was gonna say I went to Mexico and I had like popsicles, which was made with local water. I never got sick. I was fine.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Because they were like, yeah, to only drink bottled water.
No,
but
it is honestly, it's a thing that I've heard, and I just like,
Yeah.
you know,
You're not the only one.
yeah.
Actually, it's little mini backtrack to Amos real quick. Killian in the chat says, so in this episode, Amos is not depressed anymore. He did kind of have a little bit of a quick turnaround because he seemed so out of it the last episode, but this one is like, but he has a mission. Like, you know, he has a purpose again.
And all of a sudden, like, him and Alex are like real chummy. Like, they had this like weird confrontation. All of a sudden, it's like, yo, dude, here's my lasagna.
I made you lasagna.
Dude, lasagna fixes everything.
I got
It
hungry.
does.
I got hungry watching that scene. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm like Garfield now. I was like, I need lasagna.
Yeah, and then back to your comment about his with Prax. Kyle says the only why Amos needs is the captain said so.
Yeah, which is great,
Yep.
and also just boils down to kind of his very primal kind
Yep.
of, or maybe just his not extra complex
Yep.
mental process.
Oh, there you go. Killing.
Neanderthal.
Yeah. Well, it's
Hey,
like
it's
the
okay,
alpha
like-
male. They have someone in charge.
Yep.
He's okay as long as someone's in charge. He's good.
Yeah, and that's what he's
yeah,
for. Like
he's likes it.
Amos wouldn't be a leader, but he is definitely the huge
like the
support.
second, yeah.
So it's fine.
Then, good question. Killian says, it's curious how you never know when Amos would just follow orders like a good puppy or when he'll think for himself.
Well, I'm afraid.
A little bit of both.
Ooh, I don't know. I mean,
I think he thinks for himself when it's a battle situation. When it's a very
Yes.
confrontational battle situation, that's when he thinks for
Yeah.
himself. When he doesn't, because that wasn't really, I don't think he looked at it when Prax is asking him a question. It's not very confrontational or, you know, combative type situation, or
Yeah.
one where I think that he would have to like fear standing down.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. Like, a thing in the book that's not a spoilers if you guys aren't reading the book, but something that's fun is there's moments where, like, Amos is told to do something, and the idea is, like, in battle, and he's like, dude, if they get through me, I'm already dead. Like, there's nobody that can get through me kind of attitude. And it's just so fun, and, like, his attitude is just very entertaining.
Also, this is one thing. This might be a little too meta, but in order to follow an order, you have to make that choice.
That's true.
So that is his choice, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, that is like an authoritative kind of like executive personal choice. Then following orders is part of, like, based off of that choice. So, I mean, if you think about it, he is doing, I guess, what he wants to.
Yeah.
He made the choice to follow orders. He don't have to. That's what I'm saying.
I like it. I like it. It's true. That's true. Bushan, I'm like, sorry if I pronounce your usernames wrong. I would totally understand if people mispronounce my name too if they just read it. Regarding Amos, remember the months that have passed through all this. It's, you know, it's maybe weeks between locations and months for others. Good point. That's the one thing with TV shows, like, depending on if they tell you how long it's been, we don't
Right.
quite know. But that makes more sense because some of it you're just like, that happened fast, and you go, wait. They can't instantly get to one spot in space.
Yeah.
It takes them a little bit of time.
Yeah, but if we were like involved for all that process, it would be,
Yeah.
you know, not as exciting.
So that makes a little more sense for his turnaround too, and everything like that.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Lasagna. Okay.
Yeah. They've had,
had
other
many.
lasagna.
They've had many.
They've had many
Yes,
lasagnas.
that's
yes.
true.
So back to Bobby. Yeah, she gets to Earth, and I like how she kind of toughs it out, not wearing the sunglasses, and like, I'm gonna go in there, and they're gonna have their essentially like powwow meeting of what really went down and everything. That was a little interesting because that's definitely, it's not in the book at all. It's not like that. But I liked it as an interesting debate between the two. And Nguyen is an asshole in the show so much. He's so like at the end of the council, like, well, maybe if you guys did this. But then the Mars lady was saying stuff too. So, but his attitude, I'm like, oh, why do you have to be such a jerk? He's a jerk in the book too. So, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know, I hadn't necessarily thought of him that way until this meeting.
Oh, he was.
Because I don't think it's as present, I guess, in the show. At least I didn't perceive it as much, or
Right.
maybe I didn't notice it as much. But definitely during this meeting, I'm like, simmer down. Let's talk, you know? He got hyphy real quick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, and I mean, many people did. But
Well, I guess maybe too, in reading the book, you're seeing it from, there's chapters where it's a Vassarala's opinion.
Right.
And she does not like him. Like, she calls him like limp dick or this stuff like that.
okay.
Of just like
All
this
right.
pathetic little guy.
why are we not calling him that on the TV show? I love
Right?
that.
It'd be fun. Like, she
Because
just
they can
makes
only
so
get one
many
F-bomb that's
insults.
like kind of cut off.
I know.
That
I-
are so good.
fine.
And it's she calls, I forget who it is, but there's another character, she refers to them as a bobblehead, and like just how she talks about people is great. And oh, interesting. Where is this? AJ in the chat says, I was watching this episode and I just realized they filmed the Earth scenes at my school. I freaked out. Where was this? What school was
let us
it?
know. That's
exciting.
so cool.
Stark points out Bobby is all about proving she's superior to Earthers. Yes, so definitely I could see her walking on Earth with like head held high. Remember, they're like, don't even look up because the drones are watching us.
Yeah. And also,
kinda weird.
I think that same point is very evident in something that she says. She says at one point, like, you know, Mars is trying to become the new Earth, kind of like saying,
Yes.
like, well, we're gonna become the new you, and it's gonna be better. It just was
Yeah.
kind of implied there. So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
of course, she of course sees herself
Oh,
as
yes.
superior. Plus, she's like 6 feet tall.
Uh,
Just saying.
oh, University of Toronto. Someone said U of T. I'm guessing University of Toronto because I think they film up in Canada. That's cool.
Yeah, they do
it's,
film
No,
up in
it's in
Canada.
Texas. You kidding me?
That would just be UT.
Yeah. Then we have the scene where they continue the interview, but oh my gosh, she was lying. I was like, stop.
Wait. She lies only at the end.
That's true. She answers all the questions correctly,
Yeah.
but she
And
omits
she breaks
information.
a little. She does omit information, but she breaks a little bit, and she tells them
with the
about the guy. Yeah, with the
Oh, loved
Vassarala.
it.
So I
Yes.
love that because that was enough to get a Vassarala like, yo, this isn't.
There's more going on.
Exactly. And that's why she did the questioning in the first place.
Yes.
A Vassarala's too smart. She knows, like, okay, you know what? Great, you can give us your account, but let me get my hands, you know, in this cookie jar and let me do some pulling of the strings.
Yeah,
because
Vassarala did her Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson impression of, okay, let me think about the right line of questioning
Yeah.
so I can open that door
Exactly.
Oh,
and then
because
see
it
if
was
you
like
slip.
dun 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 dun.
Well, it was
Yeah.
just too like, here's our puppet, and listen to our puppet, and okay, enough, bye-bye. It was too orchestrated.
Oh,
so
yeah.
she saw right through that, which is
yeah.
great.
So refreshing. You're like, good. I'm glad somebody else. I thought though that maybe she'd talk to her in private, but then again, I'm like, oh, if this is part of the tribunal kind of meeting, you need her in front of everybody.
Yeah, I had the same impression. I thought it was going to be a private
Yeah.
conversation,
Yeah. Yep.
but it didn't.
But maybe that will be next. Like after this, she'll be like, okay,
Hey,
we need
before
to
you
talk
go,
one-on-one.
yeah. Before you
Although-
go,
I have to point out this amazing
Yes.
moment, which obviously all of you guys saw because she's great. At one point, the Martian, like ex-Marine, he's like, "Excuse me, where is this going?" And she's like, "Wherever I goddamn well
that's why I
please."
said
And I
that's
was
like-
like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I know." It's like just
that's where I go, wherever I hong damn like. I mean,
exactly.
Yep.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Who
well, so
gives a fuck?
Was it? Did she say F with that one? Because someone quoted, "Where are you going with this line of questioning?" And it says, "Wherever the fuck I want."
Exactly.
no,
she
she says wherever I goddamn like, and then
Yeah.
and then
I
the
thought
next part she says shut the.
Yes.
Yeah, she
Okay,
she
we
definitely
can
uses
swear
the
a
fuck.
little bit on this show, guys, because they swear in the show. We know they're saying the word because it's one of those when you omit the word, we all know what it is.
And the reason I know this is because I watched it on subtitle.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
That's how I know.
Yeah, and then the moment too is she's like, "Whoever the fuck you are, stand aside and let her talk, unless you don't want her to say something." I was like,
Exactly. And then it killed me when she says it was Travis right after that. I was like, whew, okay. But I also believe that Avasarala just didn't believe that, saw right through it. So that's when she's, you know, she's like, I'm gonna.
Well, it was like that pause where she could like snap out of it to be like, oh wait, I was just getting grilled. I've got a moment to collect myself and be like, yep, nope, Travis.
But she said it out loud. She said there was a guy without a suit. So
Yes.
it was said. It was documented. And sorry, I did a little hair. That's what happens when you have pets. There was they have the, okay, you can examine the suit, but we all kind of discussed this, how the thing is, in the book, her suit has the footage. However, it was damaged per the show, and there was a drone that had footage of that, but she's like, hey, that drone, and the guy was like, shh, stop.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
So there is footage out there more too, because some people are like, wait, wouldn't her suit, would it go against what she says or disprove what she was saying based on what's on it? But it was damaged, so we don't really get to see
Which happens in real life sometimes too, where certain police body cameras kind of just all of a sudden get turned off. And
and then
the relevance of this show every now and then will just kind of blow my mind.
Yeah, people are talking about how like Bobby just being loyal to the Martians, and that's why she kind of omitted information, which is essentially lying.
Of course. However, just saying, Bobby, feel guilty. You are absolutely tainting the memory of Travis. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
which she knows. Which she knows.
Oh,
she will have to live with it.
When they have that moment where they discredit her friend's name, she's like, "What?"
Yeah, it was one of her best soldiers.
Oh, she's going off on Mertens. Yeah, she's just yelling. Yep, that would be me. I'd be like, "What?"
Well, then he goes, well, I didn't tell you because this is how you'd react. And she's like, well, F you too.
Yeah, but then it just makes me think that...
Yeah.
Well, I'll get to that in predictions, maybe.
El Triskig says, Avasarala is one of the few people with the info needed to connect the dots, so she has to cut through all the bullshit to find out if the protomolecule was in play. Yes.
100%.
Speaking of that, then we find out the Somnambulist is the one kind of researching near Venus. And I don't think I had pictured it quite as a whole research station off of Venus as her research in the book, but makes sense of a whole team. But it's like, how much information do they know? Because it's like they have to be kept in the dark a little bit.
Wait, not the Somnambulist.
Oh, wait, what's the name of the research
The
ship?
Arbogast.
Arbogast, thank you.
Arbogast, yeah.
Sorry, wrong name.
That's what I was like.
Arbogast.
I was like, what?
Yeah,
I was like,
wait a
ship?
minute.
I was like, okay.
I think it's Arbogast. That's
yeah,
what I
Arbogast. It's
No, you're
Arbogast.
Right. But the research ship and how that's doing it, and they see something's on Venus. So you kind of had wondered that before of like, what's going down Venus?
Well, exactly. Do you really think that you're just going to throw that thing at Venus and that's going to be the end of it? I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think so.
And, oh, that was true. Stark points out Aaron Wright sure perked up when the guy with the no vax suit was mentioned.
Yes.
I guess he doesn't know that yet, too. Though he probably knows more than we think he knows, too. So it's like,
well, especially because he's always in contact with Mao.
Yeah, they were in cahoots together, so it makes sense that he has some pieces of information.
Or potentially, like literally, this goes down to what I'm thinking. The protomolecule is directly connected with these beings because of the blue color. That's just my prediction. So then, when Aaron Wright, I know.
There's a thing, but
I know. Carrie can't even look at me. But so then, when Aaron Wright hears this, he's like, "Oh wait, is it like working? Is it evolving?" That's just my theory. That's just what I think. I may be totally wrong, but my mind is going.
Do we know who the drone belonged to on Ganymede? Everybody's asking in the chat. Good question. I don't think we know for sure who owns that drone.
Right, because Bobby like noticed it. Because Bobby noticed it.
Yeah, it was in the Mars area, but it could belong to Protogen. It could belong to Earth, and I'd say that separately because could be. I say it separately if only because Protogen has their own motives too, besides like Earth's best interest, and it could have been Mars's, but I kind of doubt it. I feel it's probably Protogen / Earth's something going on. Good question. Then do we think, speaking of Aaron Wright finding out about this information, how much do we think Mao knows about this too?
All of it.
All of it? All right.
I think if Aaron Wright knows, then Mao knows.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but Mao's kind of been gone for a little bit, so I don't know.
I mean, we haven't heard of him.
Yeah,
but
we haven't.
Aaron Wright's like his pawn.
Yes, I'd go that way.
They pushed out Mao, they brought in Prax, so it's like, get rid of one Asian, bring another.
We fit our Asian quota. Yeah,
yes,
right?
It's all good.
We'll come back to you,
But I
Mal.
see what
We'll
you're
come back
saying.
to you, man. Don't worry. We'll come
Yeah.
back to you. Next episode, Terry's not available. We'll come back to you.
Yeah. Totally random. If you guys watch Time After Time, Julie Mao is in the pilot episode of that. She's in one little bit. I was
Oh,
like, it's
cool.
Julie! But she bleached her hair blonde. I didn't really like that. But I was like, hey.
You didn't recognize with all the blue goo.
Without the blue goo, I didn't
Yeah,
recognize.
yeah.
No,
She looked good with the blue goo.
Yeah,
don't
she did.
get
Oh,
it.
she looked good. No, she looked
Yes.
great. She looked.
Okay, that's interesting. Somebody was talking about how they liked how they had the Drake equation. So they had some science.
Actually, I was going to bring that
Yes.
up because there's a lot of tension between. I'm totally blanking on his name, but the new guy, the guy who's right in front of the Drake equation. Do you guys remember his name?
So there's Janice or Anus, like whatever, as you made
they
the
made
joke.
the joke, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And then, I don't know what his name is either. I was like sitting there
expecting that.
watching. I was looking for the subtitles. It didn't really pop up. So
I
I'm
didn't
like,
catch it, yeah.
Yeah, if anyone in the chat wants to help us out. But in the meantime, all I wanted to kind of point out is how how Janice is like,
Yeah.
that's 6th grade algebra or something
Yeah.
like that. And really kind of like brings it and kind of minimizes really what he's doing up there. But then when he goes into like his explanation, I was entranced. I don't know if you guys felt that, but I was just kind of listening. I'm like, whoa.
It was very interesting.
It was very interesting. But the tension between those two people is quite elevated. So I don't
yes.
think we've seen the last of that.
Oh, no, not at all. Good point. I kind of remember that and forgot. Do you remember the spy from season 1? That guy. At the end of the first season, Lil Jim points out the guy, I'm terrible with names, came face to face with the protomolecule, and it took the outline of himself before sucking him in. I think the protomolecule can now take actual form.
Yes, 100%. I agree.
yeah.
Because
This is where I'm going with all my theories.
you're like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Yes.
It's like Silly Putty, only better. Just kidding.
No, it keeps getting interesting. Cold Cut says, yeah, the UN captain was a total dick. Okay. Apparently the name. Well, I guess the name joke was meant just to make fun of the sound.
No, it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was clever.
No, somebody else put in there. Someone goes, "I'm Portuguese and I didn't understand." Rodrigo says, "I'm Portuguese and I didn't understand the name joke. Maybe I need subtitles." No, I think it was just purely based on the
Yes.
sound, not the word.
Yeah,
It's
so Janus.
yeah. But you know what? I had that. I did taiko, so it's Japanese drumming, and there's a sound that's like if you hit the rim, it's called ka. So if you're hitting it twice, it's kaka, which in English, if you grow up, that's like a kid word for saying poop. And our instructor is Japanese American, and he's like, I don't really understand why that's
Right,
funny.
it gets lost in translation.
But we had to explain of like, well, in English, and like that's a word you learn anyway.
Yeah. It's
So
actually a Brazilian soccer player with a last name like that, but it's K-A-K-A and then like an apostrophe, and I always thought it was interesting.
It was. Yeah, so it was like Kaka.
Actually, it was Kaká, not
Oh,
like
okay, there you go.
not like in Spanish it would be
Yeah.
caca.
yeah,
Okay, sorry.
language.
Too much poo talk.
So Venus, but we don't know exactly what that was. It almost looked like a weird wormhole, spiral, cyclone,
Crater. It's like a
something.
crater, yeah.
the protomolecule will get to the center.
Katrina. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. And then we learned that gentleman, though, on that ship is sending Vassarala the information because she mentions, I have an inside man. And again, cell phones on the bridge of like, bloop, took information, which we saw already of like,
I know, you'd think
cell
that...
phones shouldn't be allowed.
Hey, but these things are a way of life. I mean,
No,
you know.
I know. It's just
But
funny.
you literally, like, you would think that by this point they'd have more enhanced security measures.
You'd think. So easy, a copy, paste, send.
Yeah, it was just like, let me just...
Yes.
It was so easy. Not that they have any reason to doubt each other necessarily, but...
Okay, what do you guys think of this? Lil Triskig says, UN Captain was the lone rational player involved. Janice is spouting off truther BS about alien life, and he's trying to finish his mission. Okay. Dragonart says the protomolecule was taking over / infesting the clouds around the impact site.
Is this telling us from...
No, just from their suggestions.
Oh, suggestions? Oh, I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally... That sounds good.
Yeah.
I would have thought it would have made contact with the surface, but I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. So then the other...
Well, it did make contact with the surface. Sorry, I would have thought that map that we see with the expanding like
Yeah.
circles and stuff like that, the geographical type, whatever. That would have,
Topography map
yeah,
almost?
topography. That was my next option. The topography type deal that would have been the surface.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Then we have the last kind of little bit too is a Vassarala, and she gets the information, And, now she kind of understands more what's going on, which is always nice to know, like, wait, where are our characters, in terms of, like, what information. And then the very last scene it was that one, or there was something else right after that?
Very last scene.
The last thing that she talks about, I think, is
was at the end,
that
right?
it all comes down to Eros, and, like, that's...
Yeah. Anything else?
Is there anything that we missed in the episode to talk about?
Well, Cold Cut points out Venus has a lot of heat and energy for the protomolecule to feed off of.
Yes, it does.
And then, sorry if we got a little confused here. Space Case says some people here are confusing Janice with John Michael Urtubey. So the two guys, I guess their names, but I don't know. On the Arbor.
The Arbogast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
just describing them because we weren't totally sure on their second name.
Janice is the one with no hair.
The jerk.
Dude.
The
Yeah,
jerk.
the bald dude.
Okay. Then I think that's kind of it, unless you guys have something else to add that we didn't talk about.
I don't think so.
Your guy's like, I don't know. It's just so much like going on. And it's like it's this wonderful thing of like waiting to see what unfolds and where it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That was another exciting episode of The Expanse. This one felt a little slower, maybe not quite like this crazy action going on as like some of the last ones, but it's still very interesting and laying good groundwork for coming towards the end. We only have a few more left.
Well, it's kind of like, but it's like Maria said though too. It was basically about Earth and the trial.
Yeah, that was pretty much the
anytime
meat
you
of
do
it.
any trial, it's kind of it does kind of go slow.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think we have gotten unfortunately spoiled of having, the Rossi crew. And also, let me tell you, I was so happy when Alex was kind of pointing out stuff on the map. He was pointing kind of like his route, his mission and whatnot, whatever they're going to do, because he's going to be hiding behind Ganymede and whatnot. This and that, and these points and whatever. And I was like getting like really excited just because I saw like a true pilot in him and just like his love for doing that. And it was, I think, one of the better moments that I've seen from him, just because I was like, he's so into it. You know?
Yeah, he's like,
It's
we're
really...
gonna hide under your skirt here for a minute.
Oh,
That
I
was
know,
just
I
so
know, I
funny
know.
wording
Yeah.
too.
Because he's always working at being a better pilot.
Yes.
That's kind of like that's what makes it kind of neat. He's like, yeah, it's like playing a video game. You're just kind of like, yeah, I can do this now.
All right, quick predictions, guys.
Maria, you go first.
Okay, so I think that Bobby, I mean, obviously, either she's going to be in cahoots with Vasarala or she's going to go rogue, 100%. And I'm going to stand by my prediction saying that those alien things, the thing without, like, I call them aliens because I'm assuming that's kind of what they're like, the things without the vac suits, that those are some form, they have to do something with the protomolecule. I just, the colors are just too similar. And then, okay, one thing that we actually didn't talk about was the disease that May has. She had like a genetic disorder. Sorry, disease might be an incorrect term.
They might get more elaborate, but pretty basic in the book. It's just an autoimmune disease.
Yeah, so she has a autoimmune disease, and but so that's a key. That's a key.
It is important.
Yeah, exactly. The pediatrician /
You gotta keep her alive.
Sketchy person. Exactly.
Yep.
So that's another thing. I think that we're gonna start finding like little keys about what the protomolecule is, but I do think that it's a form to like enhance life, which is obviously things that they've touched upon in the show. So I think that those vac suitless beings are like a very evolved form of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, gee,
I don't like Kari looking at me like that, because she looks at me and she's just like, okay, that's nice, that's cute. Yeah, okay, moving on.
No, you have an interesting theory, and there's a thing that I would tell you, but it's towards
No,
the
don't
end.
tell me, don't tell me.
Towards the end of the book, there's a really cool something, and I'll tell you later when we get there.
Once we get there, just tell me that or whatever. Yeah,
I'll totally
we'll
remember
talk.
that one thing. But yes, Rick, anything?
Well, okay, so now that they're on Ganymede, I'm interested to see the dynamic of, because I said it before, I said how is the dynamic of Prax being with these guys?
Right.
And granted they were en route somewhere.
Yes.
Now they're down on Ganymede, and each, I mean, Prax has a different mission than they do, and we're kind of seeing that. So I like to see like how either they work together or how that causes conflict for them.
Sure, that'll be very.
Because sometimes when there's conflict, we notice when people get on bases, people that we think are in alliance, someone ends up dead.
Yeah.
My fave. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, cool. Well, that does it for this exciting episode of The Expanse. And yes, even though not a lot like happened, it was still very engaging and interesting. We're all just like, what's going on? Because it's more kind of almost that world building of providing the environment. You're just like, what? Tell me more. All right, let people know where they can find you online, guys.
Cool. Yeah. Instagram and Twitter at Maria Cavassuto. And then if you want to, like, I also have Snapchat, but my username there would be MGCVSST. a little more complicated, and unfortunately I can't change it.
Haha, you know what, you guys? You can find me on all social media at Rick Hong, RICKHONG.
He tried to make
He's
fun
so
of me,
excited.
and he fucked
Yeah.
up right there.
That's what happens.
Hey, it's
you know?
karma.
You're
Hey,
like,
it's karma, you know?
Yes. And my name's Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. And like I said earlier, check out Electro Threads. They got a lot of really cool, colorful space stuff, all kinds of
20% off.
things, and 20% off when you put K Lane. And make sure to give the video a thumbs up, 5 stars on iTunes. Comment down below what you thought of the episode. What are your predictions? And please, if you're kind of like me and read the books, no spoilers. Though the show does change it up a bit, so it's a little bit like, I don't know. I kind of think I know where it's going. And we'll make sure to tune in for next week for another exciting episode. Thank you again for watching.
Next
See ya.
week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.